All right, we're gonna do Angels of Healing and Hope Oracle. I just had these cards out. They're quite nice. We're gonna do some angel cards, and we're gonna talk about today's galactic activation portal day. Today is Blue Night. It's actually a really, really nice day. So let's talk about the galactic energies, and we will go ahead and do some angel cards. Just give me 1 minute while I'm finding this video and getting it set up and shared out. If you're just finding me, take a second to say hi. Go ahead and leave a comment, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. And just give me 1 minute while I'm sharing this out. And we'll talk about today's galactic day. Take a second to hit that share button. That'll help you get more cards and things like that. I'll let you guys share this out so we can get started. So make sure you guys have hit the share button and left a comment. And I will let you guys share this out. Okay. So today's galactic day, and I always love these galactic activation portal days because the veil goes really, really thin. Now, we're in a really nice month anyways, no matter what anyone has told you. It is a nice month. The veil continues to thin all month, but on these days, like, things are a little bit more open. We're receiving huge surges of galactic energies and energies coming into the planet, so you can expect more clarity. I love today's Blue Night day. I love it because it's a very third eye activation day too. And so you might be feeling it in your third eye. You might be getting insights, dreams, and we have a big focus on the dream dimension with today's galactic day of like things opening up. And this could be like telepathically or, even with your inner vision and getting into inner alignment and what you're manifesting. Remember, everything takes place in the mind first and we bring it down into the physical reality. So today is it's an abundance gateway, but it's a huge manifestation portal too to help us with getting more of an inner alignment and then of course bringing that down into the outer too. So the seeds that you're putting out there today, the thoughts you're having, the visions you're having, what you're putting out there are going to continue to come back around the next couple of moon cycles too. Today's a very, very powerful day for what you're putting out there or what you're making happen. Beautiful energies to be working with. Okay, we're going to get started. We're doing Angels of Healing and Hope Oracle. If you want to know more about today's energies, I put up a couple little articles on my website for you this morning. Make sure you are checking out my website, sparksofdivinelightshealing.com. I am an energy healer. I have a ton of healings, clearings, and activations on my website. I also do psychic readings, and I teach classes like Reiki and Sakan. If you need me, you always just go ahead and book me on my website. I have lots of nice healings up for today too, specifically, but you can do anything in my shop all the time anyways if it's up there. But I have lots of nice sessions up for today specifically, but we're going to do these angel cards. If you're able to sign up and be a supporter or send PayPal donations or stars, please do. It helps to keep this page going. So if you're getting something out of this page, always nice way that you can give back or help support the content. So if you're sending stars, I'm going to try to give you a psychic shout out. We're getting started. So you want to be manifesting a little extra sometimes, and I love it because it's the Blue Night vibe. Sometimes it feels a little dreamy or floaty. You might be needing, someone was asking me this morning, like feeling a little dizzy, right? You might be kind of feeling a little lighter. You're noticing that multi-dimensional rift a little bit more. You're noticing the dimensions a little bit more. However, it's kind of translating for you, but it can bring very dreamy kind of vibes. So sometimes we're needing to kind of stay grounded. Now on these porthole days too, things can surface because we're going into higher frequencies and we're continuing to go through that awakening or ascension process that we're going through. And old stuff can come up to be cleared. So today's frequency and energy specifically, we're dealing with subconscious blocks that are coming up. Things you might have been doing things your entire lifetime. This is how patterns work, right? You've been doing things your entire lifetime, but suddenly you're getting awareness and noticing, and like maybe every time we shift out of a pattern, we're kind of going to a new level or the next level. You might be noticing patterns that you're still working through or that you have coming up during this time. This is part of the energies and part of that awareness, but you're getting a little bit more guidance and clarity of like what to be healing, what needs to go, or if things are coming up. Okay, so we're gonna do Caitlin, healing, why we're here, I hope. Okay, so coming together to heal, and we're noticing that on such an individual and collective level, focusing on your healing. And this is a huge part of the work that we do and the spiritual inner work that we do once we've had an awakening. You didn't have the tools when you were asleep. I'm not saying you weren't healing then. Now, as we awaken, we're given many more tools that we can use for our healing, and we're learning how to actually heal, because there is healing, by the way, on this planet, and you're going to find it. You're going to find these healing realms and spaces, and you're going to be guided to them so that it can aid you in your own personal awakening journey and your own healing journey. It just kind of depends on what you're healing from. And if we were to, I was like thinking about like if we were to do like a little assessment for everyone, like how are you doing in certain areas of your life? If there's areas, well, and a lot of times people, I say they avoid and don't want to go there. And I feel like that, like if I ask you about a certain area of your life and I just don't want to talk about that can give us great insight into it. Like, okay, yeah, respecting the boundary, but what's going on over here? So we have all these different areas of our life, okay? It could be finances, your love life, right? Your work, whatever. Lots of different areas that we're navigating. Are there some of these areas within yourself and within ourselves too? Are there some areas of your life or areas within yourself that you're trying to heal during this time? Sometimes if we're not doing great in some areas, like tower moments, implosions, whatever, it could be obvious like that, or just, I'd like to do a little better. We could say that even financially, like, would you like to attract more? And so that's one area that we're healing during this time. So we have many areas that are coming up for healing during this time. If they're not going great in your life, it can also give you great insight into the healing work that you need to do or what you need to heal. And maybe it's just like, okay, well, it could be, I'd like this to go better. And we can even weave the art of manifestation into this too, of learning how to manifest a little bit better for these areas. Just kind of depends. So pay attention if there's areas of your life specifically that need healing, or even your own energetically, that could use a little bit more healing energy into it. And it just kind of depends. So we're learning that the limitations, things that we're healing in these energies are coming up to be healed though. And so sometimes it's like, okay, maybe you need to fill your cup in a little more area. Maybe you have old wounds or karmic patterns or things that are kind of coming up. Pay attention. Regardless, Spirit is really guiding you to focus on your healing and your own healing journey during this time. And this will help you in so many different ways. And don't you wish we could have done this from the bat, but we've been through a lot that we need to heal from during this time and to recalibrate from too as well. So as long as you're focusing on your own individual healing, you're going to be amazing. There can be situations in our life that can pull us off of that track and off of that focus. These are not for you if they are, okay? Like whenever we have connections that are encouraging you not to heal and to stay not doing good, it's like, okay, red flag energy. But you have a lot of connections and situations that want you to heal in your life, right? The opposite. So there's a lot guiding you towards like healing, getting that medicine, what you need to work on, things coming up during this time. So it looks like when I'm tapping in, you have like a lot going on and you're kind of shuffling between the old and the new, but you're being guided to really focus on your healing. It's going to enrich you in so many different ways, especially any areas that really, really need it during this time. Let's do Magdalene. Let love in. We're being guided to release all of the programming, walls, barriers, and blocks and negative beliefs that have been sabotaging, I think, creeping up and sabotaging us on many different levels. Oftentimes it's just fear, because this is the opposite kind of polarity to love in different ways. And you notice that when you're getting closer and closer to love, some of the old fears come up, or shadows we call them, right? Or the shadow work that comes hand in hand with it. You're being guided to open up and allow this love to reach you in some type of way. And maybe this is romantic. I hope so, if you know me. But there's so many other areas where we can receive love in our life. Like, you haven't just been a partner, you've been many, many other different, I call them roles in this lifetime. Some of you guys, you know, have been a parent, you've been a daughter, you've been a sister, whatever it is. You've played many different versions of the story. You're being guided to also stay open to loving connections. This can come through friendships, it can come from soulmates, yes, I hope romantic, right, as well too. Being guided to really nurture the different connections in your life and really opening up to love in the many different forms. And so I see a lot of people, we always think it's just romantic around here, like we're gonna go do this and we're gonna do that. Spirit can really bring you into many different areas of your life, and it's all about the person you're also becoming, you know, what's happening to you through this process, how you're shifting, how you're changing in a really positive way. We love to, of course, just be, you know, coupled up and learning in relationships, but oftentimes we learn in many other different ways too. You're also, you know, sometimes a friend, you might be a coworker, you know what I mean? You have all of these different roles that you're playing out still, and to find the love in these different situations too. And I love that because this is like, my mission is like that for me, right? It brings a lot of positive energy and I can help people. And then remembering that love is always around us all of the time. It's just up to us to recognize it and to release and heal and clear any barriers to it or any barriers to connection. I found that as we are healing our connections like never before on planet Earth during this time, we're also learning how to connect in a healthier way, not romantically as well too, and to be better, you know, friends and other roles for the people that we play in our lifetime. So this can help to enrich us, obviously, in our love life too, as we're healing and doing that work, but it's going to help us to connect in a healthier way across many different dimensions too. So if you still have kind of fear, keeping love at arm's length, or you haven't fully opened up to it in some type of way, this is a positive message about how rewarding that love is in many different forms you will experience. Let's do Cree Dawn. Let the good times roll. And I love this because we have a lot of positive energy shifts coming at us. This is like, whenever I see the roll the dice, right? It's like, okay, maybe you're needing to take a chance on something, and we don't like that. We're like, ego does not like that kind of energy. It's kind of like maybe you're needing to take a risk or a chance or make something happen and you're not sure about it. And we like to know everything's going to be okay, but it will be. But, you know, we're having to kind of do that. And I always say, if you're going to have to bet on one thing in this matrix, in this life right now, it's yourself. Like, right? Maybe you're needing to really like support yourself and back yourself up during this time. I was making a joke before, like, put all your chips in on yourself, right? And put all the bet money in on yourself during this time, right? Like, to really step up and to see that about yourself. So you might feel like you're on shaky or risky ground right now. There might be uncertainty that you're navigating, or you're not sure completely in what direction you're going or where you're going. That is okay as we're navigating this awakening, because we have things that we let go of. But it's always the weak foundation being stripped away. You are becoming stronger within yourself. You're able to handle all of this. And so if you are presented with an option or a choice, maybe you're aware of this, maybe not yet, make sure that you're taking that chance. It could be like a new opportunity. This is very like, a lot of people are navigating like living situations, jobs, you know, maybe switching careers or doing something different, or, you know, whatever it is in your life coming up that might be a little bit different for you. Make sure that you're trusting that whatever direction you're being guided in, even if it's new path, new terrain, okay? Like, you have not been there before. The whole planet was asleep and they're kind of in the 3D. And for those that are awakening out of it, you're literally going into uncharted territory. You have to really trust your soul as it's guiding you through whatever it's guiding you through. This is like putting all your chips in and actually winning, by the way. Like, it's good energy coming in. Expect some positive shifts ahead of you that are going to help change things for you in a good way. Tiffany Hudson. Angels are surrounding you, and sometimes we realize this and sometimes we don't. I like to think of ourselves in that way too, that we're waking up to that, and what we're all doing here, by the way, to help with the collective and help each other in some way, and to remember that. But you actually have actual angels that are around you, that are guiding you, and they're always a call away, like, and literally just prayer. And so, you know, prayer is really, if you need to ask for something, you need something, you know, you just need some angelic healing, support, protection, guidance. Angels can offers so much help to us, whether it's, dealing with heavy situation, energy, needing help, uncertain about something, needing a little bit of extra healing, love, protection. Make sure that you're reaching out to your angels. They're always with you and they're always guiding you. And this is why, for those that are connecting with their angels, you guys are seeing so many angel messages and signs, whether this is just angel numbers, confirmation. I have people that find feathers everywhere now, or looking over and seeing that angel feather, or, getting an angel number on your clock, getting a sign, getting a direct message. A lot of these messages come through downloads, inspiration, or even, we'll say, telepathy. So pay attention, because your angels are with you, they're guiding you, and you're seeing more and more signs about that. Let's do Caitlin A. Soul love, really connecting with your soul during this time. So ego is on borrowed time. I hate to say that because it doesn't last. It's a big part of who we are and how we navigate things, the mind, right? But you're also, your entire soul is guiding you through this and giving you whatever lessons manifested into the physical that it thinks you need, right? That it thinks you need. And so as we awaken, we get more out of that, like ego, which is like stress, worry, fear, wanting to control everything. And we generally shift more into our soul. And how we do that is to connect more with your soul, to really honor it, to really protect it, to really, take care of yourself on a spiritual and a soul level. And we have built-in consciousness. We never needed, I'll just say it, we never needed to be judged after death because we have built-in consciousness. Literally, they just leave us here to it. Like, if you didn't notice, you're left here to it, right? Okay, because we have built-in consciousness. So when you're not honoring yourself and your soul, maybe you make a choice that was questionable, we'll say, and this is just bad example, okay? Maybe you made some questionable choices and decisions. You feel bad about it after. And I think this is important because we know you feel good when you've made a good choice and you're aligned and you're like, I feel pretty good about my life or how it's going. And maybe you do something, I don't want to say terrible or wrong. It happens on planet Earth if you didn't notice. You're going to feel kind of bad about it after. You'll probably, within yourself, just sitting at your house or wherever you are, you're going to sit and you're going to reflect on it. And you're not going to feel good about it. And this has to do with our soul, that we're spiritual beings, that we're very guided by our soul. And, when we follow ego, which is just riches and material and all the 3D stuff, okay, usually, yeah, that's what it's after. It literally just wants more materialism. We know that, or the next fix, okay? Now, when we're dealing with our soul, it is such we only have such a small piece of it in our physical container. It's just so vast. And it's giving us all of our lessons and all of our experiences. And you notice it's trying to make you a better person. Right? Okay. So we're learning lessons. Maybe some are like, oh, okay, that was really aligned. And maybe some are like, oh, I won't do that again. Okay. So it is helping you through this entire experience. So what we want to do when we have a spiritual awakening is to really connect with our soul and the guidance coming through our soul as well, too. And it's going to help you with making better choices, making better decisions, feeling better about yourself and how you're living your life. So we can get out of alignment. It's easy around here, okay? And sometimes this leads to like depression, not feeling good about your life, not feeling good about your whatever, relationship, job, situation, whatever it is that's out of alignment. And everything usually starts out okay. But as we're growing and changing and evolving, we can get out of alignment with things. And usually we can tell because we're just not really feeling good with it anymore. Maybe, it really brought you a spark, whatever it is, your situation, but it just feels a little, getting stale, we'll say. Okay, your soul is always trying to guide you into a higher resonance and higher alignment, but we want to be doing things that nurture our soul and help us to connect with our very soul and our essence. And when you can really connect with that, it's going to come through a lot louder. This is why I love artsy people. A lot of people are channeling like their soul into art and music and creative endeavors and really connecting with who they are at the core. And this is what awakening requires of us, is to awaken our soul on some level and to embody that and to bring that down into the physical experience and to express that in a physical way. We're humans having this experience, but we want to weave and merge that spiritual energy into our physical experience. So when people begin to awaken, oftentimes you're noticing that tug of war between your very ego and soul, and learn to really tune into your soul as a compass that's guiding you through this experience. And the more that you can kind of channel and tap into that energy, you're going to be in a greater alignment and feeling better about your life. So, you know, in the 3D, we were all very out of alignment. As we're navigating this 5D experience, we're going to be able to, you know, shift into a greater and greater alignment and resonance and with our very selves. And so I feel that part of honoring our soul is to make choices that are aligned with that on a greater level, right? And to really purify ourselves on the spiritual level, to release, you know, karma, bad decisions, attachments, and things that weigh us down and kind of can throw us off course. Really connecting with your spiritual energy, yourself, and your soul will help you. Doing things that nurture your soul. Amanda Garvey, have faith. I love this too, because this is like the antidote to everything wrong on the planet. Like that hope. I love it. It's the hope, right? It's the angels of hope and having faith and trusting in the divine. And so sometimes our ego is like, oh, things aren't going the way I want. Well, it's really connecting with, and this is what people in the higher can learn how to do, connecting with and being of service to the divine. And this is like a big thing. And to serve divine will. This is what angels actually do, by the way, right? And to bring through the divine will in different situations. And this is huge too. So it's like having faith in the divine, as we call it, a power much greater than ourselves. Sometimes we call it source, we call it the universe, some people call it God, right? But we're connecting with this higher force of the universe, and we're learning how to connect with those source energies. Again, the more that this is a crown chakra message, the more that we open up our crown chakra, we're going to reach higher, I don't want to say levels, but higher states of spirituality and spiritual enlightenment. As we're opening up our crown chakra, we can connect more with that source energy. It is energy, with that source light, that source energy, and kind of bring that into our chakra system. And this is why you see sometimes people go through a spiritual awakening, and I've seen so many people where they're like unrecognizable. You guys are turning into your light body, you're glowing, you're luminous, right? We call it, as you're connecting more with that energy. And so oftentimes this planet can be a little draining and zapping of our light if you didn't notice. Energy harvesting, we should go on and on with this list, right? There can be a lot on planet Earth that can be a little, you know, it loves to suck our soul energy out, as we're talking about. And so we need to learn to recharge and take better care of ourselves as the antidote. And one thing that I love to do, obviously energy healing, but opening up our crown chakra and connecting with that source light, which is unlimited. So we have a lot of limiting program that makes us think that like, this is scarcity program in a nutshell. You know, there's not enough love, there's not enough resources. I kind of laugh at it because we have this infinite energy source that we can learn how to connect to. And then we have unlimited energy. We literally have that unlimited flow, and people can connect with that source energy and can channel it into your manifestations, healing, your everyday life, whatever it is. Now, the thing is that we live in a world that oftentimes we become disconnected for whatever reasons. So it could be like trauma, karma, you know, bad relationships. I go on and on with the list. There can be things that come up that can make us feel a little disconnected, right? Or can weaken our spiritual connection, the material matrix and all of it, programming, whatever. So we want to connect. That's like the antidote to all of this, and to connect to that energy of source. Now, it's not our fault because we didn't have these tools when we were asleep. And sometimes we just didn't learn that in childhood. We learned how to first connect to our parents as a source and maybe other people or whatever it is. And so we're learning how to connect for probably the first time ever in a really long time, instead of sourcing our energy from other people or situations or whatever it is, to go directly to source. This is very angelic as well too. And to draw on that energy. And one way that we do that, obviously energy healing, but meditation. And that's going to recharge your spiritual batteries. You had a long day at work, right? You're getting tired. You know, you got your kids around or whatever. I go on and on with this list, right? You have a lot going up. You know, you haven't been pouring into yourself lately. You just work 60 hours or whatever it is. So there can be things that can tire us out. We know that. So meditation is one way that we can plug directly into source and to bring that energy down, because we sleep and that recharges us, but it doesn't recharge our spiritual energy. Okay. I know it's keeping us alive, but okay. So we need to plug into that source field of energy. And when we do, we bring that light down into us, it's going to actually recharge your life force energy. So we have different energies that we're working with. Our spiritual battery can get kind of tired. You know, you start out full force like a phone battery. We should understand this because we plug our phones in, right? So just like you plug your phone in and you got to charge it, we got to recharge our life force energy. I love nature as a way to recharge our life force energy in the right way, or even meditation to recharge our spiritual batteries. So even though we think, you know, I'm recharged, I slept last night, sometimes our life force can get a little depleted, okay, from just going through life and things like that. We want to keep ourselves spiritually as strong as possible. Meditation will help with that, working on your crown chakra, opening your crown chakra more. This will help keep you in a more positive, uplifted state too. So, you know, the reverse of faith is having no hope going through a situation. It's all, the cup is empty to that person, right? Very depressing. Like, everything is terrible mindset. The reverse of that is keeping your cup full and feeling, you know, feeling that faith. And I feel that's something we have to tap in ourselves within our awakening and kind of cultivate. But crown chakra work, this will help you with a more positive outlook, no matter what's coming up, no matter what you're facing, whatever. Let's do Sharon M. You are an angel on earth, and this is something I wrote about in my books. They're pinned on my video link, right? Okay, and I wrote about this. I wrote about the creation story of where we come from, angels coming to earth, and, you know, thinking it was a fun game or whatever, like a video game. That's what I have clients. They're like, oh, it's like a video game. I'm like, don't say that. It's not like a video game, but maybe these creation stories coming to earth, and then karma, and then people get stuck in karmic cycles, and people got left behind on planet earth. You enter the picture. You volunteered to come here, right? So we can get everyone out of here. Okay? So it's a little like that. So many of you guys are waking up. This is a card for someone who actually has an angelic connection like that. Not everyone does. Some of you guys might be starseed, you might be elemental, you might be, you know, angelic. It depends on your soul's origins and things like that. For this person, you're very elemental, angelic. You might resonate with that. And so sometimes you think, oh, you know, earth angels should have an easy time here. Sometimes not. You might be very psychically sensitive to the energy, sensitive to other people. I know a lot of earth angels sometimes get wrapped up in their own stuff too, because what worse thing to experience than believing you're cut off from God or source, because we have to go into the 3D illusion. So even you start out in the highest of angelic realms, right? You come to this planet, you lose yourself to find yourself first, right? We all go through the 3D where we've lost ourselves, we perceive ourselves in that very painful separation energy first so that we can heal it, right? The split from source and things like that. So in order to awaken and find yourself, oftentimes you have to go through a lot of painful energies or things that we experience on earth. People maybe aren't kind, or you've seen a lot of stuff or had a lot of negative stuff play out with you, in fact, in some type of way. So this is a card for an empath earth angel. Maybe you're awakening to that. And then I love it because a lot of you guys, through your awakening, you're able to embody that and help people in the right way. Like asleep, trying to interfere and, you know, getting your own karmic backlash for helping people and, you know, interfering with their lessons in ways you shouldn't. Spiritual awakening, oh, this is where we find our mission and can help people and heal people the right way, right? So oftentimes through your spiritual awakening, it can help you to really bring this down into the physical, whether it's bringing a mission down into the physical, being more of service, and to really embody that angelic energy. And sometimes it's connecting with the divine and kind of trusting how you're guided, if you are, to help people or to say things to people or whatever it is. Amanda K. Air element. You're being guided to really channel that air element. What better way than today's galactic day? We're receiving a lot of high frequency energies. It's very energy, right? So you're being guided to tap in and work with energy on some type of level. Maybe you already do and you're like, trust me, I already do. But you're being guided to really master working with energy on some level. And this could be obviously healing yourself, healing other people, but also the art of manifestation and things like that. That's to turn the energy into objects or things or manifestations. Being guided to tap into, though, and work with energy on some level. Like I said, maybe you already know that and you're like, okay. And so learning how to master that more. This is something that we have to learn how to better connect with and stay connected with in order to channel it and keep our energy right, keep our energy pure, keep our frequency high. Or maybe this is like opening up that door if you're not working with energy already. So this is for an energy worker. You guys know I have tons of Reiki classes and Sikhem classes on my website if you're needing that too. Let's do David Curtin, connect with animals. I love it because they give the dog the wings too, right? Okay, so we don't just learn with people, we learn with animals, and sometimes this can be your pets and things like that, and having a strong connection with them and working with them. I've realized this with my own animals here, that they're working through their own issues just like a human soul would be. Like, right? They're working on learning too. We learn on Earth, right? We all come to Earth and we learn and things like that too. And so maybe you're being guided to cultivate that connection too. But this could also be obviously forest animals and things that you're finding on your path. Maybe you're finding more of a resonance and the animals come to you and approach you. And this could be like you're going for a walk and, someone's dog comes running up to you. Right? How awkward. And they're coming up to you and trying to sniff you or play with you or whatever it is. You're probably noticing that you have a very magnetic connection. And this just is the elementals, even though it's animals. You have a very strong elemental connection, but it might be getting stronger during this time. Maybe you're able to, tune in and connect with your own animal and pet better, and to bring them through more of what they need to in some type of way, or even just, seeing more angel and animal signs in nature and things like that. Let's do Jonathan R. Spread your wings. And I love this because being guided to really tap into these angelic abilities and qualities, which is to be of service. So we have the opposite end, which is ego, which is just all about people really strong in ego themselves. Like, that's it, right? Selfish. Okay, I'm not trying to go there, but it's the opposite of what we're trying to do, which is to be selfless and be of service in some type of way. Now, we don't want to lose ourselves, but we want to be of service and to serve the divine in some type of way. So ego is about just the individual and what they're trying to do here, and usually at a cost to the people around them. We're learning how to balance our ego and to be of service in whatever way that we're guided to, and to connect with and channel those divine energies. Now, of course, sometimes we have to get to a certain level of spiritual maturity or spiritual awakening to be able to integrate that down into the physical. But this is what your soul is trying to do with you on some type of level. And to really, sometimes we have to activate our gifts and heal things to be able to get in that way that we can actually help around here. And I'm looking forward to what that will mean as we progress through the awakening for the collective on a greater level too, right? So we see a lot of, so as people are waking up and healing and getting into alignment with themselves, I feel they hear their divine guidance a lot better. 3D is a mess. There's like all the chaos, right? All the disharmony, we'll call it, okay? There's a lack of alignment and there's a disharmony. As we're all doing this work to awaken, heal ourselves, and get into a greater alignment, this is reflected across the collective. And a lot of you guys are noticing, like, not just glimpses, but living that in that 5D alignment where you guys are like really telepathic with other people. You can easily attune to their needs. There's less bumping into people and chaos, and there's more alignment and getting along and things going easier, less resistance, and all of this stuff that comes with it, that we're shifting into this collective energetically, as we are, a lot of you guys, if you're doing this work, way showers for the new and anchoring in the 5D. And so a lot of this is centered around being of service and helping those around you in some type of way. And for some, this might just be little things and, being a better partner, lover, friend, as we talked about. For some, it might be like large global impact and missions and, helping people in a greater level. It just kind of depends on how that translates into your life after your awakening and what you're guided to do or what you're guided to work on. I always say pay attention to like projects or ideas, ways you want to help the planet, ways you're guided to help the planet. Lena, you are not alone. Signs that the angels are with you and guiding you and sending you little subtle signs and messages. And I was like putting that out there. And this is like, if you're asking for something, this could be manifestation or asking for assistance or help or healing in a matter. You're seeing signs, you're getting messages. This is how you know things are aligning for you. And it could be like someone's trying to manifest something. I always give the worst ideas. You're trying to manifest that boat we always use for an example. And, you're not sure where you're at right now. It's just not happening. But you're putting it out there. You'd really like this boat, and just insert with your manifestation, okay? And suddenly you're seeing an ad on television and the boat is right there. Oh my God, it looks like the one you want. Or, oh my God, your neighbor's just got a really nice speedboat or whatever it is. And you're a little, I don't want to say jealous or whatever. You shouldn't be jealous. That's a sign that you're getting the boat. Like when you start to see whatever it is you're manifesting popping up around your reality, like, you know, you see it on your Facebook feed, you see it on an ad, your neighbor shows up with it. This is signs that your manifestation is working, and it's actually subtly shifting into your physical current reality. And so sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know, everyone has a boat but me. Don't go there. It's actual little angel messages and signs, because that's how synchronicity works, that we start to see signs of this manifestation. And it could be like, you know, you're manifesting your love, your perfect lover, and suddenly you're seeing love everywhere. They got Hallmark movie popping up, they got it on your feed, everyone's married suddenly. And it could be like that too. I had someone tell me that. They were like, you know, I do a lot of twin flame work. I try to keep it separate in these videos, but they were like telling me, you know, everyone's married around me, and, you know, that's where they ended up. But, you know, it's like you might be seeing these messages of what you're asking for, or what you're talking to your angels about, or what you're trying to heal, what you're trying to bring into focus, what you're trying to bring into manifestation. Pay attention, because there's just so many signs, especially as the frequency on Earth is rising. We're going to be walking, hopefully, right into these angelic realms once again, too. And we need to remember that this is where the planet keeps going as the frequency spirals upward. We're returning to the light. We're awakening more and bringing this down into the physical. That's our job here on planet Earth. We're in the physical. We can call that ground crew. This is our job, to anchor all of this light into the physical. But you're getting so much reassurance, signs, synchronicities, little breadcrumbs from your angels, letting you know that you're being divinely supported, divinely guided, and helped so much on this journey too. Okay, we're gonna do Natalie C, self-compassion. This is like not beating yourself up all of the time about how you were when you were asleep, because you were doing this blindfolded and you didn't know any better, and you were dealing with a lot of heavy karmic load and all of this patterns and stuff and programming. And so sometimes this is how we can be hard about ourselves, about our past, or I love this. This is my regret card, right? Like, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. And letting go of that and knowing that everything in your life has played out exactly according to your life plan. Everything. And you'll be like, wait, what about that bad chapter over there? I think that guy was, or girl too, was a mistake. Or maybe if I hadn't done this or done this differently. But actually everything is going according to plan, and it's brought you to your awakening. So also having compassion for these old versions of yourself that you're very much processing and trying to shift out of. So we have some identity shifts. It was like the best way I could describe it. You're going through a huge identity shift with your awakening too. You're changing at your very core. The more you do the inner work and heal and let go of old patterns, you're changing fast as a person. So you're leaving behind old ego versions or identities of who you thought you were, and they were kind of like, if you ever had like, just bad example, you had a really bad job, there's an identity of you that worked there. That was you were a popcorn girl or whatever, right? Like, okay, and every time you left the job, that girl died. That version of you is gone, we hope, right? So you have a lot of these versions of you that are connected, and it could be to old work, situations, relationships, identities, things you went through at the lowest points of your life, how you saw yourself, because they were the illusion. It was the ego version of yourself that you were not even that person, but you had low self-esteem and bad confidence, and, you know, didn't make the best choices. Now that you've had a spiritual awakening, now you can really become who you're meant to out of this awakening. That's what it's all about. So as you're becoming this 5D multidimensional version of yourself, you're also needing to maybe bring a healing to your past in these areas, instead of like looking back and like, okay, like instead of being hard on yourself about it, send healing to those versions of yourself in the past. Like I was doing this with my own inner child, like, okay. And so oftentimes your future self hopefully will get that good with energy work that you're going to send a healing to those past versions of yourself and be helping, even though that past has already happened. Sometimes we need to go back and heal some of these aspects. Okay. Like if you had a really traumatic time, welcome to Earth, a really traumatic time or old trauma or old karma, sometimes we have to go back in and kind of heal some of these areas, especially with repeating patterns and circumstances. So let's just say you have something going on currently in your life that's coming up, and it's very connected to something in your past. That's the origin. It's the root. We have to go in deeper and heal the root. And so this is why, like, I'm not going to knock it, but I go to therapy and I'm having a problem come up currently, and we're going to sit and talk about it all day. That generally isn't going to work healing it if we didn't notice. Like, okay, let's just sit and talk about my problem. But when we can get awareness enough to be like, okay, I've been in a situation identical. Where does this pattern come from? So we have a karmic cycle playing out. We're just going to make up something. You know, maybe your relationship wasn't going that good or something. This is familiar. I've done this relationship before. I've attracted the same person, the same pattern, right? And when we can go back and find out where this comes from, the root cause of it, sometimes it's inner child, sometimes it's previous relationships. I see that all the time where people are like, I've had the same situation again. It could be with other things. It doesn't have to be your love life. We can go back in and heal the root, which is always in your past. So we have a lot of things we need to heal that are rooted in our past that are still affecting us in our current cycle, or even could come up later because we haven't healed them enough. Now, we live in a culture where we love to turn this off. I'm going to turn this show off. I'm going to change the channel, right? Change the channel, avoid, ignore, go back to what I was doing, okay? However, the problems tend to pop up because we actually have to do this work. And so the more that we can dig in deep and go back to the roots of like, okay, I have something I might need to resolve, we're going to have a smoother path moving forward, which is what we all want. We just want to have an easier time here on earth, right? And so if you have something kind of coming up for this person that's still kind of playing out, needs a healing. We talked about that earlier. Like an area of your life that still needs a healing, maybe reflecting and going back into old past stuff. I'm really good at helping you guys with past regression and past life regression and things like that too. Maybe something that you need to go back into because there's some type of root there that still might be kind of weeds in your life or playing out now. In the now, try to have more love, tenderness, compassion, and care for yourself where you're at now, and especially any past versions of yourself. It's kind of like if someone was going to pull a box of old pictures out, you'd be like, oh, don't pull those out. Have more love for your old past versions of yourself because they're the ones that got you here, by the way. They're the ones that put in the work for you to end up here, just as you are the one who's going to become that future version of yourself too. So know that you've been working hard to get where you are and to kind of look back with more like love, understanding, compassion, and less judgment of wherever you've been or wherever you had to go through. Sometimes it might even mean like detaching from some of the lessons and whatever it is coming up for you. Okay, I'm going on that now, but I'm here if you guys need anything. I'm going to be doing galactic activations the rest of the day. I have them in my shop. If you do want one, you can find them under my store. That's about it. Have a beautiful day. If you need me, just go ahead and book me on my website, sparksofdivinelightshealing.com.